Hi, this is Eldervi, and welcome to a new edition of Whalehunters Extreme. This time we're not talking about may or may not be whalish, maybe they were just lucky, favorite units. In this video, we are talking about non-scoring plus 10 mythics and non-counting extra slot whales. And they brought along all the horrors the game currently has to offer. Legendary Lilina, Fallen Edelgard, Legendary Sigurd, Bridal Catria, Legendary Byleth. I got all of them. Never before has it been that difficult to make my thumbnail, as there were just too many crazily merged meta units. Therefore, I hope you'll be entertained by some really heavy matches against these teams. First, we'll start with a full plus 10 team, including Bridal Catria and Legendary Byleth, accompanied by a far safe near safe protection wall, which I will reinforce in a single round. Next we'll go over to a hardcore old school cav line with 6 troublesome horses threatening my poor brave Ike trying his best to stay meta relevant. And finally, this is the match I promised you last time. Pala will take on this corner armor ball with OG Hector and Valentine's Alfonse, which just happens to have a little plus 10 surprise Fallen Edelgard on the sideline. How fun! That being said, let's hop right into the first match. Now, this was indeed quite scary at first sight. I kinda knew what was coming when I entered that match, as this player actually matched me with a full plus 10 team before. But actually seeing the full gangster squad is still something else when it eventually happens. I tend to think that I'm a sane guy, but when I take on fights like this, instead of picking the poor random dude who scored a victory with 4 losses on day 1 and has a leading unit without a seal, you start to question yourself. All for the cause of the best possible entertainment. First, there's Duma, who obviously was only there cause it was his bonus week. I fully expect this player to have a plus 10 version of any mythic, which they can freely swap into his place. He runs DC, Bolt Fighter and Gold Armor, taking away Duma's initial upheaval. Then we have the mother of any reverse red wedding, Bridal Catria at plus 10. Next, we have seasonal fitting Legendary Byleth running Attack Death Ideal and Wind Sweep as a form of safe ball counter, I guess. To be fair, I wouldn't like to be the far safe backer eating his quadruple NFU attack either. Next, we have plus 10 Seiros in the extra slot. Imagine summoning 11 copies of the probably newest mythic at the time and putting that unit in the immovable non-scoring unit slot. I didn't dare to put my unintentional plus 10 Bremimont out of my defense team when it meant denying myself a single dance in my setup. But I guess it doesn't really matter when all of your mythics are plus 10, does it? Then we have the well-known far safe near safe combi of Brave Hector and Edelgard, nothing really new at this point, and since I've finally overcome my Brave Edelgard fear, nothing to be super afraid of either. Last we have Mirabilis running a Drive C and Distant Guard. Lots of plus 10 units, but overall tame builds and some actual flaws in the setup. I decided to reinforce this cause my Bolt Tower was in the perfect spot, and as I've chanted multiple times before, Bolt Tower beats safe defense by far in my opinion. I know what you're thinking right now. Didn't I just say that I would destroy this crazy team in a single turn? While this is technically right, liar liar, pants on fire, it's gonna be turn 3. I am not that much of a badass. But I guarantee you it's going to be impressive nevertheless. So what I did was to obviously use my level 1 dancer strategy again. Lyn is now mostly running reciprocal aid, as Altina has to be switched out for the bonus mythic in some weeks, and it has worked very well so far. Bernie has an updated kit with double attack speed bond and Wings of Mercy, which makes her contribute very well as a slayer of Vector, Seiros, or also the new Fjorm, who she can survive and double to take away her special. Seeing how much I use her by now, I'd say it's about time to give her some premium fodder. Neither catch nor ideal skills seem to be synergetic to my playstyle, so I could probably go with either an impact skill or blade session. Not sure about this yet. Recommendations appreciated. Funny enough, I do think that this team can be taken apart rather easily in multiple ways, as long as you have strong enough carries who can burn through the double save. Mira is very awkwardly positioned, making it easy to bait her below the golden organ after taking that thing out. Without a dancer, even a crazy moving Catria ball gets easily out of order and can therefore be taken out piece by piece. At least I think so. The Lannisters still send their regards. Round 3, the bolt tower did its broken job and made my Lin kill Hector with ease. Disabling his special fighter is honestly all there is to do. A double hit with Moonbow is hard to take for most units.
I can do it.
Interestingly, Bernie could have done it as well. Good girl! Minus attack Bernie slaughtering the big boy, and this is without any bond bonuses right now.
This way?
I did take him out with Lin though. Even though I could have killed him right where he was, I decided to make a show by making him hop over to Seiros, where he would miss all the drive supports from Mira or Duma. When fighting against safe units, always make sure to hit them in the spot where they are most vulnerable.
Why not?
With Hector gone, I was free to carry on my path of violence. The duo unit was the next which had to go, and just to show off once again, I decided to keep Edelgard alive for my freshly +10 merged dragon to make an example out of her.
Over here? I'm going to stop you.
Altina was the next to join the party, being happy about finding a target with full health, high defenses and an attack stat even lower than hers. I'm running Death Smoke for quite a while now, which is totally stupid seeing that my Lin already does that. I really need to remember giving her attack smoke back to better win these heavy blade checks, or even better a rain should I find myself to be in a generous mood someday. With her A, B and seal slot pretty much taken, it is quite difficult to make her win attack checks against modern units. For the ultimate show-off, I decided to include both pots in my "Kill every last one of them" mission. So I took out pot number 1 with Altina's Gale Force turn, danced Lin with Cheatery, and used her dual skill to refresh Altina at the same time. From there, I took out Byleth with Bernie.
You have my trust.
+10 bonus Duma with Altina. Look at you, girl! Took the last pot with Lin.
At your command.
And used her cheating duo skill to finally finish off Seiros.
This way? Lin, you're a wonder! You're finished!
An entire +10 team slaughtered in a single round of combat, with some help of the bolt tower. Nice. Wouldn't be as easy in match 2, where I would be forced into a turn 1 engage. I found myself facing this old school calf line with quite some impressive horses competing in this slaughterhouse race. +10 legendary Leif with ARD attack speed, trying really hard to quadruple with that 21 speed. +10 legendary Lilina with double life and death, reaching 79 base attack. Dancer Sigurd with another ARD attack speed? For real? I think at the time of this match, Dancer Evelyn was the only unit wielding that skill. Did they really not find anyone more suitable to waste that premium skill on than 2 units with 21 and 19 base speed? Oh, they did! Here comes Veronica, with ARD attack speed. Great. She also has odd recovery, making sure I wouldn't do anything naughty to her fellow horse friends. like turning around Sigurd's cavalry buff with sudden panic. Too bad it won't work for herself though. Last, she's running Flash to be extra annoying. Then we have Legendary Sigurd bringing us back to the plus 10 game with Lull Attack Death, which is indeed something to take note of. From the encounters I had so far, I must say that I found Lull Attack Death the hardest to deal with, as many units suddenly start to fail killing him. I for myself still prefer Pass in very aggressive setups, but lulls on horses are still something to look out for. Finally, we have plus 10 Selena with Windsweep and double Savage Blow, and oh boy! Remember what I said about the extra slot Seiros last game? Imagine having such faith in your broken horses that you put your only mythic at plus 10 merges in the slot where she doesn't do anything for your lift loss reduction at all. Seriously? With 3 legendaries of different seasons, one of them at least is sure to be out of season as well. In this case, I think it even hit both Leif and Sigurd. Why would you do that? Seeing the 10 golden thrones makes me think that it isn't as successful as one might think on top. So, obviously, there's still a lot of firepower for this team. My boy Ike would crumble to both Lilina and Sigurd, which is why I'm running him alongside Thick Mama for quite some time now. She is really good even with base kit. Just refine her weapon, give her the distant defense seal, and see her work her carrying Mama magic. She has an issue against the flash stuff though, which is why I wanted to make sure she ends out of Veronica's range. What I also wanted to avoid was Lilina attacking her directly. While Henriette's resistance is quite high, getting hit by gifted magic from an 85 attack empowered Lilina would still hurt, 30 damage her to be exact. So what I did was this. I made sure Thick Mama was buffed to take on the enemy Leif, Lilina and Duo Sigurd, who I wanted to convince to make use of that ARD speed skill instead of dancing. She wouldn't do this by herself, but rather with her safe skill protecting Altina, who positioned herself in a baiting spot 2 tiles away to make sure Lilina wouldn't hit Henriette with her special. A thing that is sometimes hard to pull off with this team is making sure Henriette won't far save Ike, when he actually has a more favorable matchup. Ike deals very well with either Veronica or Selena, thanks to his Null Sea Disrupt, but since Veronica was closer to Henriette, I decided to finish her off first.
I'll tread lightly.
Besides, Selena would take some time to walk across the map.
Yeah.
I left Shiny Sigurd alone for now, hopefully Regan would be able to take him on later. Last, I placed Lucina strategically in a spot where she could support both Ike and Henriette with a double distant guard. The battle began and I already found myself with a big surprise. Henriette wouldn't kill Sigurd. Why? If that Seiros hadn't ended her turn, I would be dead right here and there, and I would hate giving an out-of-season team such a victory. But thankfully she did. This would also mean that Lilina would no longer find space to attack, which was very annoying to be fair.
I don't want to lose control.
I easily dealt with Veronica and Leif, but to my big surprise, Shiny Sigurd went all the way over to Lilina to take Leif's old spot. As if that is what happened in genealogy. Nice try, dude. You were stupid and got yourself killed. Go live with your choices. This left me with a quite awkward turn too. I knew that Disco Fever Sigurd had to go. I couldn't risk that plus 10 Seiros warping herself freely across the map. Not with a level bomb Plumeria in my company. Now, taking out Duo Sigurd wasn't that hard. I had multiple units able to do exactly this. But sadly, not while also staying out of Sigurd's and Selena's dangerous range. Luckily, I had means to take out Selena at least.
Leave it to me.
With her teeny tiny defense, only undercut by Lilina's double life and death defense of 10, she was an easy target for my Regan, who could kill her while easily getting out of danger afterwards. favorite Book 5 character. I was a bit sad to waste her special like that, which I could really need against shiny Sigurd. But what was I supposed to do? I took one of the few non-red spots on the map to seek shelter before finally dealing with Duo Sigurd. Or, to be fair, I didn't. As Altina isn't running Galeforce in this setup, but rather a set enabling her to function as a possible third tank, I had no choice of getting out of shiny Sigurd's range with all of my units. So I simply made sure Seiros wouldn't find a target near Duo Sigurd until he was gone. That sadly meant Lilina slapping Thick Mama right into her face with her gifted magic, but with Veronica gone, my sudden panic finally found a moment to shine. I still took a huge hit, but the follow-up wasn't as scary anymore.
I apologize.
And thanks to no healing tower, I finally dealt the amount of damage to Duo Sigurd I wanted to see before as well. Only took a minor heart attack to get Mama rolling. So, this only left shiny Sigurd, who refused to die against Altina. Luckily, I SOP trained found a halt after crushing through several balance walls forming his kit, denying him a free DC on top. So I could easily chip him down with Mummy first, to make Altina finish the job after that.
You have my trust.
Poor worthless plus 10 Seiros never found her way into the match, still lingering around somewhere in the top row, so I was free to snatch the final pot literally underneath her butt before taking her out with Ike.
Leave it to me.
You're wide open.
This was a very well-deserved lift-loss slap right in the face. I don't know, I'm all hyped about Sigurd defenses during wind season where he belongs, but I have a special kind of hatred for those abusing him out of his season. Match 3, the moment all of you have surely been waiting for. She's back, and she looks angry. Plus 10 Fallen Edelgard with Death Res Solo 4, Death Res Menace and Deflect Melee. This was, by the way, the very same week after I took out my first fast-save Edelgard with Pala, so I decided that she would be the one to save me from this menace as well. I've altered her kit after that first plus 10 battle, making it actually worse with hit and run. What the heck was I thinking? But since putting out the last Whalehunter, I have actually listened to some of you guys' suggestions, and I am highly impressed by my new Precious Soul Desperation Pala, which I've used a lot this week. So, besides Edelgard, it was a Save Ball. Save Ball Dark Edition. Yay! They are kinda coming back, aren't they? So, the main players in this sack were OG Hector and Valentine's Alfonse. OG Hector with Death Res, Near Save, Close Defense 4 and Special Fighter. And Ruptured Sky for some reason. 76 HP though. And Alfonse with that armor shield I can't pronounce. Svalin? Swollen? Is it a swollen shield? Don't get me started on that one. Special Fighter, Far Save, Distant Defense, nothing too special. It may look bad to have both of his save units sharing a color, but seeing that this is light season, and we are indeed missing a red light mythic while we have 3 over in Astra, makes this choice kinda smart again. I for myself haven't run any red units on light for the longest time. I may have actually been super lucky that I brought along Pala that week, don't know what else I would have done in this situation. Besides the 2 tanks, there were the other poor weaponless souls. Draug, which I have never seen on any AR map before, I think. He has high defenses to maybe counter a Miller hero there, so this might be the reason. Not sure who is currently the highest defense armor in the F2P pool. Is it still Arden? On the other hand, why not place a +10 Duma on the field, just to strip his weapon, skills and purpose, leaving him completely worthless. $1,000 spent to have him sit before a pond without a weapon, reaching magnificent 42 attack and having him think about what went wrong in his life. And then there were 2 nodes with different types of ruses, gaps, drives and... Life and death 4? What? Guess this came for free after slaughtering poor Layla for that ruse. Not sure if Hector appreciates that move. So, for anyone who thinks that this will just be another turn 3 bolt tower slaughter, kinda, but this one was much more difficult than that. Menace Edelgard actually meant that she would move slow as hell, so getting her into the reach of one of these bolt traps might turn out to be a big problem had I waited too long. My approach therefore may look a bit desperate.
I wonder...
After praising you guys for the color suggestion, may I call out those few lunatics who advised me to put the little spider on Rinea. It reads, if foe initiates combat. Do you really think that this is a line suitable for a unit with 4 defense? I mean, I know that Lilina earlier barely had more than that, but still. I might do it cause it looks cute though. Back to business. Category is unblocking that path leading to the Fallen Empress to...
Festival.
Attack her! Untransformed! Turn 1. So no retaliation! Have you ever seen something looking more... silly? Get her, Bernie! You're doing so well! Thanks to Daga's Pathfinder, I could not only reach Edelgard, but even dance Bernie out of danger in the very same turn. Isn't this great? Now Edelgard would start moving, and with a bit of further stimulation, maybe even into the right direction. Round 2. The ruses were actually quite annoying, I'll give them that. My damage with Pala looked awful so far, but I obviously wasn't done yet. Rinea, it's time I guess. With Brazen attack defense, Rinea's attack wave support and a bit of POD drive, Pala would find enough strength to battle Hector.
I wonder.
Soon. My new Brash Assault Desperation Pala would actually eat thick little Hector with full health. I may be in love with her. I wasn't sure if I would be able to execute my plan in turn 3.
If you say so.
So, to stop them from healing up again, I took another desperate expedition close to Fallen Edelgard herself to get rid of their healing tower.
I can do it.
While Edelgard was still playing eeny meeny miny moo to decide which of them she would eat alive next turn, I repo danced all of my units just out of her reach. She must be really mad by now. Turn 3, Bolt Tower hit! She's down to 15 health. Great, so let's take her beautiful look into consideration a little bit longer. Yeah, beautiful. While my other units were still gasping, Pala started to take care of the armor ball. With the help of the Bolt Tower, not yet optimal Pala finally took out Hector from the water route. And then she came back, I guess. Next, Peony did the dance to refresh her, and...
Yes.
Oh! Surprise! Air kills Alfonse! Really? How? Moonbow? Deactivated special fighter OP confirmed. Didn't do that though. Not yet. First, I put Duma out of his shameful existence as a weaponless meat shield. And she came back again. Hit and run must be the most stupid skill I've ever put on a unit. Why did I think it might be good? Brinea had a bit of trouble dancing now, though the water might have helped her with that new flames accessory.
Yes.
Aether finally got her moment of glory, taking out Alfonse, again right next to Edelgard.
Fly, Olivia.
The level of disrespect. No wonder she hates me.
I'll handle
But look at that! With Peony's auto buff and the stupid hit and run positioning, I was able to further abuse Air's position to take out Edelgard in the very same round. But I didn't do that either. I thought it would be most fitting for little Bernie to end what she started. I'm so lovely. And with that, a rather threatening team suddenly turned into 3 helpless weaponless units in a single turn.
I wonder.
2 helpless weaponless units. Sucks to be you. Okay,
It's already
let's
done.
make it 1 helpless weaponless unit. And she moves back again. Stupid skill.
Right, boss.
Everything from there was just a matter of cleaning up. Nice. This video was sponsored by the Vault Tower Association,
If you say so.
bringing back the spark into your Vault of Heaven matches as well. That's it for this episode's whale matches. If you are a whale and happen to find me in your replays, I take money to make that recording disappear. I'm currently fighting a bit of sickness. I hope having to listen to my voice wasn't too awful. Hope you had fun watching, stay tuned and see you soon!